Bob, very great to connect with you. I'm starting recording, and we'll just try this as a sample and love to connect with you directly from Australia, and we'd like to welcome you to our group here at Energy Medicine Partnerships. We're in North Carolina at the Triangle Holistic Center, and I'd love to have you take the opportunity to share some of your thoughts with us about your teaching and your life's work.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Mary Jo. It's nice to see you. Isn't it amazing, modern technology?
It is.
You know, here I'm here, just still traveling. I've left Uluru a couple of days ago to come here and do a job for a very young friend of mine who got married. When he was with me at Uluru, I said, if you ever get married, I'll sing at your wedding. So I came to do that, and I completed that yesterday. And I'm in the process of packing now to go up north to Townsville and then out to Magnetic Island for a couple more teaching sessions. You okay? That machine right?
It looks like it's working. We'll just go forward with it.
Okay, good one. Yeah.
So one of the things we're focusing on during this annual meeting is learning how to connect with nature, plants, and the animals. And so I know you have a lot to say about that, and I'd like to invite you to just share some of your thoughts.
In its older story, ancient story from the olden times, the story is told to us by which I've interpreted and I've presented in my way, which is from the beginning of time. But this Jukupa, which what we call the period we refer to as dreaming by the anthropologists and a lot of other scholars, but this is applied to the principle of beliefs in creation period. And in that period of time, when everything was in darkness, an idea awakened in this darkness, and it created a vibration that with the softness of light that went out throughout the universe in this heavy darkness. And there were two sisters out there, and not that far from each other, still in the spiritual essence of just energy, like all the other planets and stars throughout the universe. And the two sisters were Earth and Sun, and they were out there doing their own thing, as Sanagu people, and all of a sudden this vibration that was created by the idea in this darkness, really, really gentle and soft, happened to go out, and they came to them and they felt it. And they, like all the other planets and stars, just turned and faced to look at where this vibration was coming from. And they looked at each other and they said they felt there was an impulse for them to go in towards where the vibration was, the beginning of the vibration. And as they wandered towards it in the universe of darkness, as did all the other planets and stars in the whole of the universe, in their spiritual energy. But there were only gas, there were spirit. There were no one was solid. A strange thing started to happen. Some of them started to become solid matter, the beginning of solid matter. Others start to become little softest of light you can imagine. And for the first time in the whole of the universe, before the time of creation, you had these beings like little glowworms heading towards the central being, which is an idea. And when they got there, they kind of gathered together. The impulse that was leading together seemed to say, let's gather around and meet each other. For the first time under the softest of light, of the gentlest of stars, they saw each other. And they were quite surprised that there were other beings where they were. And then what happened? Then they all came into the central being. And an idea came, saying, we are here for a purpose. They heard this like a voice from this central point. We are here for a purpose, for us to select the position we need to be of the greatest service to all that will be. That was all that came out of the central idea. And so they looked at each other and blow me down. Earth's sister, the sun, was really excited. And the more excited that she became, the more brighter she became. And everybody noticed her that. And they said, wow, you're getting so bright. Why don't you take up a central position and then we'll each one place herself from you as our marker. And then every star and unit throughout the universe then place themselves using the sun as a marker in the position where they would be of the greatest service to all that will be without ever knowing what that purpose was. And that creation story is my interpretation of the stories I was told as I was growing up with my animal elders in Central Australia. And I, it's just amazing. And really, that's the example of life and why we're all here. If it was good enough for the planets, it's 1,000 times good for us. That the only reason we're here is to be of service to all that will be and each other, and to live what in the way we call the Kanini principles of having unconditional love and being responsible for that love towards all life and each other. And we govern that, we control that. Each one of us, our love is like a light. We can hide it in a bucket or in a drum and put the lid on and close it up and keep it to yourself within this little drum, or you can just put it on the top of the drum and it'll light up a bigger space wherever it might be. That's our responsibility. And then that love is much better if you can get it out there and be of the greatest assistance to everyone that needs light and your love. And that's a beautiful story, and it kind of leads to then getting to know the things you want to share your love with. So from this first knowledge of connectedness, which I speak on, I had a group of senior retired nuns and Catholic priests came to me at IAD, and my young teacher didn't turn up. He was booked to take this group out to Ormiston Gorge, west from Alice Springs, and spend the day with them with the cultural awareness program. But because he didn't turn up, the boss said to me, Bob, Johnny didn't turn up. Will you go? Will you take the class? And I just arrived there to do my own work in the office. But sure enough, I said, where's John? He said, I don't know, he hasn't called. But he hasn't turned up. And we've already booked him for the group, and they're waiting in this 50-seater bus, So I said, okay. So someone ran me there, and I met everybody there, and I jumped in the bus, and we started heading off for Ormiston Gorge. And when we got there, I said, I've been asked to do a cultural teaching program. So before we just have lunch here, while the billy is waiting to be boiled, I'm going to show you a ceremony I've created for connectedness. I said, all sit around me on the bank of the Ormiston Creek. We sat down under this big gum tree with the beginning of the range, that big range that runs all the way to Alice Springs, the McDonald, the Yiperinya Ranges there. And we sat down, and I said, this is one good way of connecting to country. And I said, this is one I created because it helped me when I was needed to be connected to something that was solid and really mattered to me. And I said, okay, put the little bit of wet, the tip of your finger like this, and see if you can pick up one grain of sand from the thousands of sand you're sitting on. And each one of them did that. They put their hand down to the earth and they tried to pick up one grain of sand, which was really difficult. And I said, okay, you place that grain of sand in the middle of your hand and then clasp your hand over it and then say after me, I am this grain of sand. And they all said that. The grain of sand is me. And I did that same process with a handful of sand and did the same words again. I am all these grain of sands. and all this grain of sand is me. Then I went to a little tree, that little weedy thing, little weedy there, and I said, just look at this little weed and just hold it. Put your arm around like a cup. And they said the same thing, I am this little tree is me. And I said, okay, let's all get up, and we put our arm on this huge, the big gum trees that are there, right beside the bank of the Ormiston Creek there, and this huge gum tree, and I said, each take this here, I am the gum tree I place my hand on. The gum tree I place my hand on is me. And then I picked up, I said, let's sit down again, and I said, pick a little rock, a little stone you have, that's sitting, you can pick up where you're sitting, and they picked up this little, place that in your hand, and they placed this little teeny stone on their hand, and it's the same process again. I am this little stone, it's me. And then said, okay, let's get up, and it was the beginning of the Ormiston Ranges. You know how big that is, Mary Jo.
Yeah.
It runs all the way towards Alice Springs. This high, big range up there, way up. And they all tacked against it, and I said, I am this range I touch. This range I touch is me. And we sat down again. I said, okay, the little stone pebble you had in your hand? Throw that into the pond that is in front of us as part of that creek that was running there at Ormiston Creek. And I said, each one do it separately, and each one in turn would mention their names. And I set the example, and I said, throw that in there, and you can see the ripple on the surface. That ripple on the surface is going in every direction you can imagine. Under, over, around, in between direction, outward towards you, outward from that, in every direction through. And it's going throughout the universe now. And you've got to say, I am the energy that is created by the stone touching the water. And the vibration that is coursing is me. And you refer to it, that ripple that's stretching out and extending out through the energy, a real energy going out throughout the universe is, I am that, and it is me. And I come straight in. Then these little budgerigars was all around us, doing beautiful things and yelling at everybody and each other, budgerigars alike. And it was a beautiful season, so they was really telling stories to everything that would bother to listen or didn't want to listen. They were still telling their story. And I said, you see those birds? You are. And I said, say, I am the little budgerigars. The little budgerigars I see there is me. And they went to the living. Then I said, okay, look at each other. And I had them just look at each other as a group. And I said, the people I see around, I am. The people I see around me, it's me. And I said, okay, let's just take a look at each other. Let's pair off and just hold each other's hand and look at each other. And I said, I am you, and you are me. The beauty I see you is the beauty that has been created throughout the universe. But you alone are the most beautiful that's ever created because of your uniqueness. Your uniqueness. There's only one of you in the whole of the universe, and that's the beauty you bring to me. I appreciate that beauty. I honor that beauty. And I love that beauty that I see in you. And that same thing I see in you, I see in me. May your day be blessed with love and peace. So let it be. And that's what I did with these retired Catholic nuns and priests, Mary Jo. They were retirees, already pensioned out. That was the first time I started to. That came to me at that time at Ormiston Board. And I teach that to some groups who inquire about connectedness, because we are part of all. And part of all is me. And each one of us need to accept that, because it is life's reality to our way. And it brings in that wholeness of the oneness of all living, which is a reality. And then each one of us have that responsibility to appreciate each other's beauty. And the beauty is in the uniqueness. That was our life. That's that, unlike beauty, that's the uniqueness that is so beautiful. And if we can just learn to see that beauty in all life forms, every living thing is family. As you know, within our totemic time prior to creation, the creator beings travelled this continent of Australia in many directions. And they left an energy where they sang songs, they danced dances, and they told stories, and they painted a design. And the commandments they gave with them as a rule of living life the proper way, which I mean by right way, is to love all without conditions. And our ultimate purpose of living in life is not to make any judgment, because you separate yourself from that and you become a judge. And the way you make judgments, you'll be judged. It's as simple as that. And the many great teachers say that, because it is a basic reality and truth. All we are here is for the purpose to be of service to each other in whatever way it may present itself. And to live a life that we can really love without condition, without judgment, and accept each other, and do what we can with what gifts we have to the best of our ability, even if it's just in the streets of wherever you are. You see a stranger and you just do acknowledge their existence and maybe a little smile, and you say in your heart, "You are so beautiful." You don't have to say it out audibly, because that vibration, you say that to this person, it's extending like a ripple on the surface of that water. My nuns and the priests threw their stone, and that vibration of you just thinking that goes out throughout the universe, and you yourself is multiplied by that with more beauty, more goodness, and more confidence as being more beautiful each time you do it. You say it, it multiplies the power of the same energy. The thought is the first one, the words are the second, but the action is it. When you act that is the strongest. So you've got to be very careful what you think, what you say, and what you do. But if you desire to connect with all other life, then you yourself can make that connection. I did it by creating that little ceremony, but each one of us can do it each in our own way, wherever we might find ourselves. And really, all we have to start is meeting each other and greeting each other as lost relatives. We're just meeting for the first time. And it'll just grow itself. It's a natural way of being, and it's a beautiful way of being, you know. And we know that. You look how easy it is to communicate with your dog, with your horses, with your cows, and that can happen with the plants, with the rocks, with the mountains, with the rivers, with the ocean. Everything that is living, and everything is living. The same energy of acknowledgement is in all life, and the spirit of that connectedness is in all life. Each one is putting their energy out to love each one of us. We as the human are responsible for the welfare of the silent ones, as I refer to, which are those birds who talk another language to us, but still aware of us there. Our animals, all our native species of animals that are out there, the reptiles and the birds, they're all family members. And, of course, the plant world. And they're the quiet ones. And it's our responsibility to make sure the environment they're living in is the kind of environment we want them to be happy in. And because their thought is always, they will always give of themselves for our happiness and joy, whenever that is required for anything to do that. As the Islanders say, when the land clearing starts in Central Australia, they know in advance, because they're psychic, the tree psychic, and they say to the trees around them, as the bulldozer comes closest, you must start telling the stories of all your knowledge and pass it out like an energy, constant energy of knowledge to all the young ones around you as far as you can reach. Just keep vibrating it through the earth connectedness, and other trees will pick that and they'll retain that and they'll add that to the knowledge they've picked up in their place at their time. And if we can share the knowledge of being responsible for our love for each other, my hope, my dream is always to see us all as a global family, each caring for each other in a condition, what I refer to as the Kanyini principle, having unconditional love and being responsible for that from within me. Like each time I blame my partner, I'm going to say, you caused me to be angry. No. No, their action, whatever it is, was their action. My anger is my own anger. That's it, I've got to look after this one. Because when I point to my partner there with one finger, there's three pointing back at me. Three pointing back at me. And that's where we need to be. And honestly, when you reach that level of living at that place, you have no desire to be any different. In that spiritual place of the sense of belonging and connectedness to all living, anybody like myself and others like me are totally satisfied with life. There is no need for anything else. And that's the way I want everybody to be. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk to you, Mrs. Joe. It's so beautiful to see you again.
Well, it's great being with you again, and many things that I've learned over the years have been from our association, which started, I think, about in 1994, so it's been a very long time ago. And I know it's about time for you to leave and get ready for your next activity. So we'll sign off for now, and I send you many blessings and love from this part of the earth to your part of the earth, and I'll look forward to connecting again.
Thank you. Yes, and you may have just seen on the side my driver give me a finger.
Sounds great.
So I'll say goodbye and leave you with love and blessings.
And for you as well.
All our members
Thank
of our
you.
energy medicine practice, darling. You take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Love you.
Love you
Love
too.
you. I leave you with peace and love. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.